Good morning, children. This video is for anyone who's working in the Obelisk group. Here is your Fluent in 5, so please do this first. So pause the video and answer the questions. And here are your answers for the Fluent in 5. So today's learning, we are going to be looking at bar charts, pictograms and tables to interpret and present discrete data. We're going to use reasoning and problem solving questions to consolidate our learning. So we'll look at the first question. The school tuck shop would like to know which fruit sells best. The children are deciding how to record each sale. Faith says a pictogram drawing each fruit as we see it, as we sell it. A bar chart we could put across each time we sell a fruit. Who do you agree with and why? Now, we can write a reason to show it, or we can use pictures or drawings, diagrams to help us. Now it says here that a pictogram drawing each fruit. Now, if we were to use Faith's method, we would, if we wanted to draw a banana, each time we'd have to make sure it looks represent to a banana. Now that's not the best picture, but this is how we're trying to prove which way is the best. An orange, an apple. To distinct the two possibilities, you might want to use colouring pencils to colour to represent each one. We might have a pear, and again you might want to colour it in, which is quite a long process. Whereas if we were to use a bar chart, and I'll just draw a very simple one here, instead of just drawing a piece of fruit, we could just do, okay, so if we have our title, we've got apples here and we could have oranges here. Instead of just doing drawing a picture, we could just do a cross. Well, that's one. Well, that's another one sold. And this is a much quicker way to record the data as they sell the fruit. Now, if they would like to, if they would wish to, they could do a pictogram afterwards as another way of representing the data. But whilst they're selling it, the best way of doing it is to use a bar chart, because it's much quicker and it can be done at the same time. So we could put a bar chart would be best as it is the quickest way to record data. So that answers our first question. So we've identified that bar chart is the quickest way. True or false? It is important to be able to count in fives if you're using a tally chart. Now, if we go back to our knowledge of tally charts, we draw lines every time there is one of something that we're doing. Say, for example, we're looking at how many people like salt and vinegar crisp. And we could say that there were 7 people. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then don't forget, when we get to the 5th, we draw a line to create a gate. And this is it's easier to allow us to be able to count the amount per item. Say for the crisp, for example. Now, if we were to have choose cheese and onion as a flavour, and there was 25 people who liked it, we do our gates. So we've got 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Now we could individually count these, but if we have a good knowledge of our 5, so our 5 times tables, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So we'll go back to the question, is it important to be able to count in fives if you're using a tally chart? We could write, it's true. And for us to be able to explain it, as we create gates of 5, this allows us to identify the amount per item in this case. So we know that it's important to count in fives because it makes it easier to identify how much is for each item. That's the second question. The third question, it says, Mrs. Bentley says this table is not easy to interpret. Frequency of exercise, and we've got when exercise is taking place. Find one way you could improve the table. Now, why is it not easy to interpret? Well, we've got here on the left hand side, we've got the different ages. These are age ranges, so anyone under the age of 10, between the age of 10 to 15, 16 to 21, and 21 and over. Well, we know how many people are doing exercise daily for these age groups, how many are doing it weekly, but here we've got figures, but we don't know how many of these, what these figures represent. Does it represent monthly or does it represent yearly? Find one way you can improve the table. So quite clearly we've got missing information here, so we need to add a title to the last column, and then we can identify, it will allow us to identify which age range. If this says, for example, let's put monthly in here. If the question was which age range exercises the most, the frequency of exercise the most in monthly, then we can identify, well, it's 21 plus. But if we didn't have that information, we wouldn't know which column to look at. That's your input for today's lesson. So please now go to the task sheet and answer the questions. Best of luck.